Zach, one question I had for you was, you said you looked through hundreds of deals before you really started investing with Mike and Bo, right? What's some of the things that you learned that you really took away from when you were underwriting and looking at those couple hundred deals that has propelled you to find even better deals? And like in that underwriting process, what's some actionable stuff that people that are new to commercial real estate can really take away and use tomorrow?
Perfect. That's a great question. So it all starts with demand, right? Like the way that I look at it is it starts with demand, right? There's 3 steps to underwriting a deal: demand, location, value add, right? Those are the 3 most important things. And when I first got started, what I didn't understand was how to find demand. I didn't understand what demand was. I didn't understand how to identify if a deal was going to be a good deal or not. So it starts with demand. And what I mean by that is whenever we talk about, investing, we always recommend to people that you invest in your local area or your local market because it's what you know best. If you live in New York, don't go and try to do your first deal in Texas, because you're gonna fall on your face and fail. I mean, especially if you're a new investor and you've never done a deal before. So that's the first thing. But in order to I didn't know how to find demand initially. And once I understood how to find demand and what demand is, it changed everything for me because it allowed me to be very careful about what markets I either would focus on myself or have my team focus on. And honestly, the best way to find demand is go on, number one, look at your local market or some local markets near you or whatever markets you're actually interested in investing in. And you go to LoopNet or Crexi. And on LoopNet or Crexi, you can choose the buildings for lease option, and then you can select whatever asset class you're looking at. So let's just say industrial. I can select that, and then in that market, I can see all the buildings that are on the market. And so if I look in a market and I see, okay, there's 100 buildings that are 5,000 square feet on the market. Well, unless you're in a multi-million person market like an LA or even like a Houston, that's a scary thing for me. If I go to New Iberia, Louisiana, and I see 15 buildings that are on the market at 70,000 square feet of space, that's going to change my mind on wanting to do this deal that we did in Louisiana. So it starts with that. Just look at your local market and see what is on the market. Is there a lot? Is there a little? Another thing that I've started to utilize is ChatGPT deep research. So you can, ChatGPT and AI is a tremendous value add in my life today. It does a lot for me. I've basically am training it to be a second version, AI version of myself right now. And one thing is we use AI for a lot right now is initial market analysis. So if I'm going to go to a new market and before I go waste a bunch of time researching and trying to find population trends and data, I've created a bot that specifically analyzes the macro of what the market is doing and then the micro of the commercial and industrial market in that specific market that I'm looking at. And then I can refine it down to even the individual zip code or submarket that I'm looking in. And then from there, that gives me a workup of population growth. What's the vacancy rate? What is the lease trends? What is what kind of oncoming units are there, right? What is the growth or shrinkage of the different cap rates that properties are selling for in that area? It gives me a full workup that I can kind of use to analyze the demand based off of what I know creates strong demand. Growing population, growing lease rates, a strong replacement for all the new units of industrial or commercial that are coming online. Those are all things that I factor into my brain and just think of, okay, yeah, based off of the high level overview of this market, I see a strong demand. Then demand is where it starts, right? And I didn't know how to do that. The other thing too, I don't want to discount is once you do find an area, let's say you do a market analysis on ChatGPT, and then you have that and you identify there is a strong demand in the area. The next most important thing is calling local brokers because those are the experts in those local markets. And when you paint yourself as a real estate investor and somebody that is potentially going to be a client of theirs, you are going to be able to get good information from them. They're going to want to share information with you. They're going to want to work with you. And I always like to pose as though I'm a tenant when I'm calling and trying to get market research done. I ask them about a building and I'm like, hey, well, what exactly, are the lease rates going for in the area? What kind of lease terms are you asking for on this? Do you have any other buildings that are similar to this in the same area? And what kind of lease rates would those be going for? But I'm posing myself as a tenant and then allowing them to feed me the information that I need. And then from there, the kind of the final step after you like actually talk to brokers. They give you a pulse on the market. They talk about where the cap rates are in terms of what properties are selling at. Then they talk to you about what the lease rates are in that market. They talk to you about the price per square foot of the buildings. You get a really good idea of how the market is performing. Then it's a matter of finding a deal and analyzing the location. Because the last thing you want is to be on the crack house street where all the homeless people live and everybody's buildings are getting broken into. Because you might be driving down a strip of road and see some vacant buildings, but you might be overlooking the fact that there's 100 homeless people that live on that street, and the reason those buildings are vacant is because they're always broken into. So location is the next level. Like, you want to find a good location in the market that has a strong demand. And then the final part that I learned was there has to be a strong value add component. You have to buy the building for at least, let's say 30% below market value. And then you have to be able to add value to that building, not just by like redoing or rehabbing the building, but by being able to either bring the leases up to market rates if they're not there, or getting the building leased out at a market rate, so that you can obviously generate cash flow and have income being produced by that building. But those were the three concepts that I didn't understand when I very first got started. But once I learned how to find demand, I learned how to analyze demand, analyze markets. Then I was able to actually go in and understand how to identify what a good location was. And then the running the numbers of a deal, that is where you determine what your value add is. And like having a pro forma where you can understand, okay, what is my purchase price? What is the cost of the rehab? What are my estimated expenses, property taxes, insurance, common area maintenance, any other utilities that I might be paying as the property owner? What is my management expense? What's my expense going to be to have the building leased out? What is the loan payment going to be? Being able to analyze those numbers and play with them to determine what your purchase price should be, that's the very final component that is really, really important. Because what people overlook, they look at purchase price and like, oh, it's a good deal. But what they don't factor in is the 300 grand of improvements that they're going to have to make to be able to get a tenant in the building. So it's really important to be able to understand, once you find a demand in a great location or property, understand what the value add is going to be, how much value can be added, how much income that property can generate, and then work your way back from there to figure out what the right purchase price is going to be. Because there are some buildings that even if somebody gave them to us for free, we wouldn't buy them because they're so distressed or they need so much work or the market just isn't strong enough for us to want to own the building.